Every single day, more conspiracy theories, more rapture dates, more what's going to be the false flag? Are we going to have a fake Satan, a fake Mary, a fake Jesus, fake UFOs? Is it going to be a comet that comes to Earth? Digital ID, another pandemic? It's the same tactic over and over and over again. Fear, compliance. Hi everyone, it seems like every time I come to do a video, we have weather like this. So no matter whether it's July or October or January, here is the tourist board announcement. It rains a lot in Scotland. But I wanted to come on here and talk about something that I'm noticing, and that is a rise in the level of fear that people are feeling, and the rise in the level of people talking about spiritual warfare, people talking about the occult, people speaking about demons. And this is always very popular, very enticing. It can be scary for a lot of people to look out and see the kind of darkness that's going on right now. And so I wanted to come on and give people some encouragement and talk to you, yes, about the demons and the dark side, the kingdom of darkness, but also, as always, to talk to you about the Lord. Because what we need to have, rather than a fear of man, rather than a fear of governments, rather than a fear of Satan and demons and the occult and spells and witchcraft and everything else that people are talking about, what we need to have is a fear of the Lord. And so that phrase, a fear of the Lord, it's not something that a lot of people talk about. It's not something that a lot of people really want to accept. It's not something that a lot of people understand. What do we mean when we're talking about a fear of the Lord? I mean, you could do a Google search on that phrase and it will bring up, 100 Bible verses for you. But what does it truly mean? The fear of the Lord is really just about putting God in the appropriate position. God is the creator, okay? He's created this whole universe. We should be in awe of his power. We should be in awe of his intelligence. We should be in awe of him, in fear of him, because he is the one that can bring all of this to nothing in an instant, including ourselves. Okay, he has that will, he has that choice, he has the power, he has the intelligence. And so when we are stuck in a fear of man, when we are stuck within a fear of dark things that are happening through our governments are so powerful. There's going to be a digital ID. Look what happened during the pandemic. So much fear. And what did fear lead to? Compliance. Compliance. We have to do what these tyrannical governments are telling us to do, because otherwise it's not going to be good for us. We're going to suffer the consequences of that. But as Jesus said, are we fearful of the people who can kill us, who can take our life? Or are we fearful of the person who can throw body and soul into hell? And so the correct position to put God in is at the top, okay? That's why we worship him, right? That's what I was talking about when I was talking about idolatry, okay? God is at the top. Everything else flows out from him. Jesus is our one mediator. We go through Jesus to get to the Father, and the Holy Spirit is with us all in that horizontal plane of the earth to be with us and teach us and comfort us and protect us, to dwell within us so we don't have to fear man. The prophet Isaiah is one of my favourite prophetic books, with God speaking through Isaiah, saying to the people, stop regarding man in whose nostrils is breath, for of what account is he? Stop regarding man. Stop fearing man, for of what account of he? Man is mortal. Governments are made up of men and women who are the same as us. So whether we are fearing them or going to them for advice, or whether we are worshipping and focusing on technology and AI, artificial intelligence, to give us the answers, to solve our problems. Well, artificial intelligence was made by humans. Okay, technology is made by humans. Why do we think we're going to be getting better answers through AI? Why are we not going to the ultimate source? And that is God. And so the fear of the Lord comes when you truly believe. You know who God is, okay? You know that he is all powerful. It isn't just about, oh, God is very loving and that's why we turn to him, and God is very wise and that's why we ask him all of our questions. God is very powerful and he's going to protect us because he loves us. No, there is a fear of the Lord. And as James says, even the demons believe and shudder. The demons believe and shudder. So why is it the demons have a greater fear of the Lord than humans do? Oh, well, that's because demons are evil and they should fear God, but we shouldn't fear God because we're children of God. Isn't there often a kind of sense of awe and fear of your parents? Deep, deep respect that you don't want to offend them or hurt them or do anything against them. So we have a fear of man, we have a fear of authority figures in our lives, but we don't fear God. We don't have that awe and respect for God. And so I want to distinguish between faith and belief a little bit, because I think sometimes there's a bit of confusion. And this passage in James, where he speaks about the demons believing and shuddering, is going to give us a bit more nuance, I guess, between the difference between belief and faith. So this is the passage in James's letter in chapter 2, which is about the difference between faith and works. Okay, so this is something that people will debate and discuss, you know, is it just about faith or is it about works? And they pit James and Paul against each other. But if we read the passage, I think we're going to find out that it's actually both. What good is it, my brothers, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, be warmed and filled," without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? So also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. But someone will say, "You have faith and I have works." Show me your faith apart from your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. You believe that God is one. You do well. Even the demons believe and shudder. So here we've got this difference between faith and belief. Of course, the demons believe in God because God is a reality. It's true that God exists. That's why they believe in him. They have experiences with him, but they don't have faith. Their belief in God hasn't changed them one bit. When Jesus is walking around on earth, it's the demons who recognize him first. "What do you have to do with us, Son of God? Are you going to throw us into the abyss before the time?" They know their destiny, because even the demons believe and shudder. And so belief in something, yes, I know something's true, and having faith, totally different things. Faith, as James is pointing out, is going to manifest something, okay? Your works, the things that you're going to do, are going to be born out of, through, by your faith, as he says. I will show you my faith by my works. How can you not change, in other words, if God is with you? If you have faith in God, if you have the Spirit of God living within you, how can you not change? And therefore, if your beliefs change, how can your behaviour not change? How can you not want to be helping other people, clothing the poor, feeding the poor, looking after all the people that need your help? How can you not be doing that if you have faith? But you can certainly not be doing that if you just believe, because the demons believe and they're not helping anyone out. Lots of people believe in God, but it doesn't change them. They don't have any fear of the Lord, nor do they have any works that demonstrate that belief has changed them. They don't have faith. And so when you don't have faith in God, you are going to be scared of the world. Maybe I'll lose my job. Maybe something bad's going to happen to me. Maybe all my peers are going to shun me or ridicule me or whatever it is. But if you do have faith in God, what do you have to fear? It's that brilliant psalm, which I'm going to read. Psalm 56, one of my favourites. When I started reading the Bible, it was the Psalms in the 50s that I was led to read the most. And of course, those Psalms are all about judgment. And then you've got that Psalm of repentance, Psalm 51 from David. But Psalm 56, in God I trust. Be gracious to me, O God, for man tramples on me. All day long an attacker oppresses me. My enemies trample on me all day long, for many attack me proudly. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you, in God, whose word I praise. In God I trust. I shall not be afraid. What can flesh do to me? All day long they injure my cause. All their thoughts are against me for evil. They stir up strife, they lurk, they watch my steps, as they have waited for my life. For their crime will they escape? In wrath cast down the peoples, O God. You have kept count of my tossings. Put my tears in your bottle, are they not in your book? Then my enemies will turn back in the day when I call. This I know, that God is for me. In God, whose word I praise. In the Lord, whose word I praise. In God I trust. I shall not be afraid. What can man do to me? I must perform my vows to you, O God. I will render thank offerings to you, for you have delivered my soul from death, yes, my feet from falling, that I may walk before God in the light of life. That is now. We need to be walking with God in the light of life. Okay, He is with us. What can man do to us? Every single day, more conspiracy theories, more rapture dates, more what's going to be the false flag? Are we going to have a fake Satan, a fake Mary, a fake Jesus, fake UFOs? Is it going to be a comet that comes to Earth? Digital ID, another pandemic? It's the same tactic over and over and over again. Fear, compliance. That's why people are going so demented and getting into conspiracy theories. Of course, one of the most obvious signs of that in our culture is watching the slow decline and unravelling of Candace Owens. And so people have been saying for a long time to pray for her, and this is the result. When people say pray for her, I think the sentiment behind it is that there is going to be some kind of healing, some kind of being drawn back to God. Often when you are praying for people and they are in the state of mind that she is, which is basically just walking away from God and doing it publicly and getting embroiled in all kinds of conspiracy theories and making everything about herself, making herself an idol. What your prayers are going to do is expose that more and more. And so that is why you are seeing this unraveling. It is heartbreaking actually to watch her videos, especially now since she's been taking a break. But of course can't keep away from being on social media and talking about things, because that's how she gets attention. That's how a lot of people get attention. And I am surprised, I guess, that people in her life, especially her husband, are not quietly drawing her away from being in the spotlight and just saying, okay, it's enough now. Okay, it's enough. Like, shut the computer, turn off the Wi-Fi. It's enough now. Because she's helping no one, least of all herself, least of all Charlie Kirk's family, least of all the public. But because she has such an influence and such a powerful voice in terms of reach, and because she is taking the Lord's name in vain, she is taking the Lord's name in vain. She is bearing his name. I am a Christian, she says. Christ is King. I am a truth teller for the Lord. She is not. And when you take God's name in vain, you should have a healthy fear of the Lord, because that is not going to be tolerated. God will not be mocked. Maybe she believes that she is a follower of Christ. I'm not sure at this stage. I'm really not sure that she understands what it is to be a follower of Christ. What does the Lord hate? People who sow discord. Let's read Proverbs. So here is a proverb for Candace Owens. Proverbs 6 from verse 16. There are 6 things that the Lord hates. 7 that are an abomination to him. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil. A false witness who breathes out lies, and one who sows discord among brothers. She is a sower of discord. She is someone who divides. She is someone who accuses. She is a slanderer. Her whole channel is about gossip. These are the things that the Lord hates. But of course, our whole society now is about bearing false witness. It's about accusation, just throwing out accusations everywhere, bearing false witness, and then on the other side of that, people having to justify themselves. Right? No, I don't accuse me of that. I didn't do this. So everyone is now in this cycle, especially on social media, which thankfully I'm not on. The cycle is falsely accuse, sow discord, and then people justifying themselves. Who's the accuser? Who is the ultimate accuser and slanderer? The father of lies, the enemy, the devil, Satan himself. And so when, not just me, but obviously the apostles and Jesus say, this is Satan's world. That's what they mean. The setup, the culture, social media, everything about our popular culture is satanic in nature. Accusation, slander, gossip, self-justification. Who are we justified by? Ourselves? No. Self-justification. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And people become more embroiled in it, more divided, more angry, more fearful. There's a devil or a demon under every rock. We are not to have a spirit of fear. We are not to have a spirit of fear. There were people during the pandemic who didn't want to go along with what we were being told was being mandated. And some of those people lost their jobs. Some of those people lost money hand over fist. A lot of those people were bullied on social media. Families were separated. And they picked up their cross and they stood up against the tyranny. And so when people say digital passports are here, which is exactly what they said during the pandemic, my question is, well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stand up? That's the only way that tyranny stops. Because there's no point, before it's even happened even, digital IDs are not here. There's no point in being scared about that if in fact when it does happen, you're just going to accept it. And they're doing the same rollout as they did before. All the people that will just accept it and be like, yeah, what's the big deal? I'm just going to get the digital ID. In other words, they just comply without having to be manipulated or cajoled or put into fear. That's the stage we're in now. Getting people on board, getting the unsuspecting public to just sign up voluntarily. And if they get enough people to do that, they won't have to employ the fear tactics that much. But if they don't get people to sign up, then that's when the fear is going to ramp up. And that's when people are going to start to panic. And that's when people are going to start looking at the book of Revelation and the mark of the beast and this and that and all the other stuff. More fear, more fear, more fear. Talking about AI being the false prophet in Revelation or the beast. Talking about it being satanic. I mean, yeah, quite possibly. But again, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep feeding AI? AI feeds on the information that we put out there. The stuff that we put on social media. Okay? You're feeding AI by partaking in this constant online discussion, debate, fear-mongering, gossip, slander. You are contributing to AI by putting your information out there. And people will continue to do it. So in one way, I don't think that any of this is really going to be stopped, because I think the vast majority of people need to go through the fire. This is a purifying fire if you allow it to be. God is allowing all of this to happen. He's allowing you to be fearful. He's going to put you in situations where you have to have faith in him. Not man, not the internet, not the governments, not your favourite celebrity idol. You have to have faith in him. So all these idols are coming down. Candace Owens is the first. Any other person, celebrity, church leader, new age teacher, government leader, whatever, who is taking the Lord's name in vain, calling themselves Christians, saying things and doing things in his name publicly, who is not a true believer, is going to be going through exactly the same things as Candace Owens. Okay? Their power is going to be taken away. God isn't going to tolerate it. I have every faith that he knows exactly what to do to every single person, famous or not, who is claiming to be a Christian and leading people away from God, keeping people in fear, keeping people in this merry-go-round of information. Oh, I need to know more. More debates, more discussions, more information, more theology, more doctrines, more. It is very simple, the things that God wants, okay? He wants us to have faith in him, not just belief. Oh yeah, God exists. Oh yeah, Jesus. No, he wants us to have faith in him, and he's going to test all of our faiths in him. He's done it with me time and time and time again. Suffering, slander, gossip, abuse, betrayal, rejection, you name it, he's done that with me. To teach me that I need to rely on him. What is man that you are mindful of him? Or the Son of Man that you care for him? He cares for us, but he's going to give us some tough love. He's going to give us some tough love because too many people are in fear of man. Too many people are in fear of man instead of having a healthy fear and respect and awe towards the Lord. And so I'm going to finish with the end of the book of Ecclesiastes. It's all about the futility of life without God. And so Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 11. The words of the wise are like goads, and like nails firmly fixed are the collected sayings. They are given by one shepherd. My son, beware of anything beyond these. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. The end of the matter. All has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment with every secret thing, whether good or evil. And sometimes we need to hear that. Sometimes we are so focused on understanding everything that we just whip ourselves up into a panic There's a brilliant psalm, let me read it to you, that shows us that even King David has the humility to sometimes say, you know what, Lord, I don't need to know everything. I really don't. Psalm 131, a psalm of David. O Lord, my heart is not lifted up. My eyes are not raised too high. I do not occupy myself with things too great and too marvellous for me. But I have calmed and quieted my soul, like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child is my soul within me. I do not occupy myself with things too great and too marvellous for me. Okay? God is in control. We're not supposed to understand why everything is happening. We're not supposed to know everything. Some things are a mystery. God's ways are higher than our ways. Calm your soul. Calm your soul. When you have deep and abiding faith and a deep and abiding faith and fear of the Lord, your soul will be quieted. It doesn't matter what's happening, okay? If you have faith in God, He's going to protect you, teach you, guide you, comfort you, give you peace, lead you to do what you need to do. But so many people, there's so much noise out there, and other people are looking to everyone and everything else to give them the answers. ChatGPT isn't going to do it. Grok isn't going to do it. Any kind of AI isn't going to do it. Any kind of political leader isn't going to do it. They're not going to give you the answers. They're never giving you the answers. They're just causing more and more and more discussion and debate. Why? Because it makes them money. So you can feed the beast, or you can quiet your soul and you can pray. And I know that's not a message that a lot of people want to hear, because they want the answers. They want to know what's going to happen. That's why people follow all these prophets, giving them the geopolitical lowdown. And what good does that do? What good would it have done you if one of these prophets, none of whom did this, but if one of these online prophets had told you what was going to happen on October the 7th, or told you if there is or isn't going to be a peace deal in Gaza, or told you that COVID was coming? What would be the point of that? What would you have done with that information? So whatever information they're giving you now, what are you doing with it? That's a good question. What are you doing with all this information that you're consuming? How is it changing? Are you changing your life? Are you becoming stronger? Like what is it actually doing for you, apart from giving you a kind of brief sense of comfort, perhaps, because you think you know what's coming down the pike? Well, I'm going to say that most of these prophets have no idea. And the reason they don't have any idea is because God isn't telling them. He doesn't need us to know, okay, in that way. He needs us to listen and obey. He needs us to stay close to Him, sit at His feet. He needs us to come off social media. And so it's our responsibility to stop playing the game that's being laid out for us. It's our responsibility to pull back. And so I hope that helps. I will put all the Bible verses, as I always do, not only flashing up at the bottom of the screen, but down in the description box. Please study it out. As I said, do a Google search. Look at all the verses about having a healthy fear of the Lord. Understand what that means. Don't just brush it aside because you don't like the sound of it. It's about all of us taking responsibility for our own learning. And if we're going to be spending time getting information, then the best place to be getting your information is by studying the scriptures, not by asking ChatGPT. So yes, I'll be back again soon. Bye for now.